These are the 5 new maps in Splatoon 3, and every single one is rich in detail. So me and my friend Jack analyzed all 5 of them, and we ended up finding things that not only gave them personality, but also gave us insight as to why they work in the context of the game. Let's start with Scorch Gorge, which has designs that embrace the abandoned wasteland theme like this, and this. If all of this wasn't enough, you can hear buzzards breathing down your neck in the recon. There's a ton of fossilized fish, which makes sense for the world's overall theme. The rocks in the background imply that this map was once underwater. What's even more interesting though is that the fossils are not real. They're designs that are sort of just placed everywhere. Some are monoline, meaning that the lines are one consistent thickness, while this one has a lot more line variation. It's also a symmetrical design. I really like this one because it looks more like a fossil than just fish bones. I believe the map in its current state is a national park, so if anything, these stickers are probably just meant to teach the jellyfish that come here their history. And what's a park without a little bit of graffiti? We get both a tagging version and a bubble graffiti version. The tagging ones keep it realistic by using a graffiti marker to get those organic thick and thins. This adds so much believability to the stage itself. The bubble graffiti is beautifully done. This one in particular is my favorite because it turns into a fish head. There's a very cool use of contrast with sharp shapes and round shapes, and it utilizes colors and texture so beautifully. I think it's really cool. We also have some designs that deviate from graffiti, like this cool abstract squid design we see here. This game showcases the many ways designers can make the same thing look different. Honestly, it's super impressive. Okay, now look at the beautifully done illustration of this diver's helmet. It is super clever. Oftentimes you see these things at the bottom of the ocean, with something living in it, and this map previously being underwater just makes the design more cohesive. I just love how graphic the black shading looks, and the astronaut one next to it is so cool too. It seems to be from the same artist. I assume this letter is like the artist's signature, since it's on both pieces, and that letter looks like it was done with traditional calligraphy methods. If these helmets are not in the Splatoon 3 art book, I'm gonna be very disappointed. The squid with the halo is worth mentioning as well. This design was on the Switch OLED we got for the game. It's pretty interesting that this one was painted. As you can tell from the paint drips that it has, it seems like this stage has it all. The poster next to it is really cool. It seems to be an ad or a poster of some kind, which, believe it or not, follows the rules of composition and graphic design. The top has the headline, an image that leads the eye to the bottom, the call to action, and the logo. This is a composition formula that's used in ads today. Check it out next time you see a printed ad. Now, this might sound crazy, but this poster being printed on purple paper is gonna be important later in the video, but I think that covers the entirety of the map. Now let's take a look at the next stage.
Eeltail Alley is an interesting setup for a stage because it's not a disconnected area like most of them are. We're actually right in the middle of a road here, which has been blocked off to allow for sport, I guess. You can see how the road goes through the center of the stage, and on both sides there's a lot of detail to the city around you. It's interesting how water is different in each stage to match the area. Hagglefish Mart's polluted water is a huge contrast from the beautiful clear pool of Mahi Mahi. Eeltail's water is somewhere in the middle in terms of pollution. It's certainly not as bad as Hagglefish, but I wouldn't want to wash my clothes in it like this guy here.
On the opposite side of this little guy, we have a logo that appears to be of a construction company. I mean, the logo is on the scaffolding. I love that the logos look consistent with real life. Oftentimes construction companies make their logos look bold and rigid to convey strength. It sounds silly, but logos like this are more trustworthy in that industry. These red fishes stamped everywhere on the floor seem to be designed after the fishes in Hagglefish Market, which we will discuss in a bit. I just love the hand-drawn look it has. It's nice to see even more forms of expressive design alongside graffiti and stickers. Now, remember the purple poster with the octopus from earlier? Well, this is why it's important. This ad is also printing black ink on purple paper. This printing method is cost efficient, and it's often used in small businesses. Basically, regular printing uses CMYK, which is 4 colors, but if you only use black, you can preserve the other inks. And by printing it on colored paper, in this case purple, you can create the illusion of a 2-color job. Printing is fascinating, and I'm so glad the designers incorporated lots of it in context. And quick note on the poster's design, I do believe this is an ad for the bike shop in Splatsville. Pretty neat that they're advertising throughout the game. Now, this is my favorite part of the stage, the vending machine. I kind of want to make a separate video just on the vending machines in this game, but for now, I'll just talk about the beautiful dragon logo that's on it. It's safe to assume that this logo is of the company that makes the vending machines. I love how the logo has letters that match the dragon's cadence, while also transitioning into one. Notice how the first character and the last character have the same shape. This makes the logo feel consistent and includes the illustration as part of the design. Really clever. Oh yeah, there's a cool little area with a bunch of stickers on it. I kinda wish we could use photo mode here. There also seems to be a lot of interstate signs here. And over here we have a phone booth with type on it, which seems to say Wi-Fi. Finally, something we can read. The logo underneath I assume is the phone company that installs it. Now I wonder if they're also in charge of the phones that the Inklings and Octolings use in this game. By the way, this phone booth in particular is kind of occupied? Maybe they're calling the fire department, I don't know. Now it's time for the most detailed stage in the game, Hagglefish Market. If I covered everything here, this video would be way too long. So instead, I'll focus on the designs that add to the consistent ambience. But first, Jack had some thoughts on this stage.
Hagglefish is probably the best new stage in my opinion. Not only does it play really well, but I love how alive the world around you is. On one side we see fishing boats in the gigantic ocean that goes all the way to the horizon, and on the other side we see the nearby fishing town full of various different shops. As you get more inland, the buildings get bigger, eventually leading you into this large city. It's even connected to the same monorail line that goes to the hub area and Eeltail Alley. The stage matches the market theme really well, with boxes and trash all over the place. In fact, these shops have had to cover themselves while Inklings are having their fun. I also love how some of the boxes on the map can be interacted with by the player and get pushed out of the way. They've even specifically put some in front of your spawn so you can fly into them at the start of a match, which is a really fun idea. I hope we can see more interactable elements like these in future stages.
Kicking around boxes is pretty fun, not gonna lie. I love the logos on them as well. This shark one is very cool. I just love how the type follows the curve of the shark. The package design is always so cool to look at in this game. Now the other box has a familiar logo. It's from the Eye of Justice headgear in Splatoon 2, which was also linked to Marina's team order in the Final Fest. It's such a cool detail, but why is it here? Anyway, Jack made a good point about all the stuff scattered on the floor. I like that there's a lot of ads and signage for different shops and products on the ground. My favorite sign in the stage has to be this one. I'm a sucker for hand-done signage, and this one just embodies it the best. It looks like they just used stencils on the type and spray paint on the rest, all on a recycled piece of plywood. Perfect for this map's ambience. Again, showing design in context. These letters here seem to be hand-done as well, and can be seen on the mural painted on the wall. Something worth noting here is that lettering done this way is done with a flat painter's brush. It takes a lot of technique, but it was done so well here. Lastly, I want to point out the little fish booth at spawn. Whoever's running this seems to be selling a lot of these strange looking fishes. They're reminiscent of the ones painted in Eeltail Alley. The sign on top really embraces the handcrafted signs that everyone else has done in the stage. I really like how you can tell it was done with markers because of the light spots on it. They even have other signs with the fish on it all across the map as well. I like the little details this map has. It feels very fleshed out and like a real market. Now let's move on to the next one.
Undertow Spillway is based on real flood protection systems under Tokyo, which look amazing. I'm not surprised the developers were inspired by these, and it's a little ironic considering the Splatoon universe takes place after humanity was wiped out by flooding. You can see that many of these giant pillars have collapsed as a reminder of what happened here in the past, making Undertow maybe the single best stage for subtly hinting at Splatoon's dark lore. I really like how in certain areas light comes down from holes in the ceiling, and plants have started to grow. The way the sunflowers are illuminated by the lights looks really cool, and the butterflies in these areas are also a nice touch.
And the logo that is above the flowers seems to be the logo of the company that maintains these flood protection systems. Their logo is even in the middle of the stage, where it's been erased away over time. The three shapes have a very modern and respectable look to them, and they seem to work alongside the other construction companies in this game. These letters are similar to the ones in Eeltail Alley. There seems to be a huge amount of construction lore here. It's very fascinating. Undertow Spillway is very unique in that it has so little stickers and graffiti on it like the other stages do. However, the small bits that we do get to see are unique to this stage, the squid sticker being the most prominent. This design is a holographic sticker, and the way they work is by printing ink on special material that reflects multiple colors a certain way based on lighting. The squid as a whole seems to be an octowing because it looks angry, and has 4 tentacles. I wonder who got away with putting these giant stickers here. Alright, let's check out what Mincemeat has in store for Wait, is that a Deku scrub? Are Dekus finally being represented by Nintendo again? And in my favorite franchise? No way, they actually— oh, it's probably just a strawberry. I'm big sad right now. I do like the little circles on the outside of it. Makes it feel like the designs were spray painted onto the ground. There's also a more bold, Japanese looking type in this stage. There's a lot of industrial type in these stages, and they're usually always run by jellyfish. Now, I do believe that's all of them. Wait, there's one more?
Okay, I know we're only supposed to be focusing on new stages here, but I really have to talk about this one. Hammerhead Bridge connecting both Inkopolis and the Splatlands is a really fun idea. Because of this, the map is a key point that connects all of the games. In fact, Nintendo even released an entire map of the Splatoon world, showing how everything is tied together. Continuing this theme, you can see the NILS statue from Splatoon 2's Octo expansion down here, and I think you can even see the Ferris wheel that was visible from Inkopolis Plaza. Something right in your face that you probably haven't noticed is that at the start of a match you can see the top of the bridge for a few frames. For an area you can't access, there's a lot of detail here, with roads, lampposts, and even road signs. In case you were wondering, these signs do have text on them when seen from the other side.
Okay, that was actually so interesting. I didn't know this stage had so much going on. I hope that by this point you're looking forward to seeing these details in the game next time you play. The recon was an immense help for filming this, that's for sure. And please do let me know if you find any other cool details in these maps as well. Whoa, did you see that? The UI cursor just did a little spin. If you're interested in what else the UI has to offer, we did a thorough analysis over on Jack's channel, which I highly recommend. Like, did you know that when the inkling disappears based on the camera movement, the ink tank still stays? It works so well, it goes almost completely under the radar.